We good?
All right.
There's a geocaching app that you can get on your phone. What we're going to do, generally, people don't like it when you spoil their caches, so we're going to go on a trip with Aaron to find my cache, so I don't care if it's been spoiled.
So this is called a Kayla's cache, right? So difficulty and terrain, which usually determine how hard it is and to get to and how hard it is to find, are both actually at 1.5, is that what you have it set to? And it's a small.
So there's various sizes. A micro is little tiny thing, which usually just has a log. Small is usually a Tupperware container, which is what this one is. Might have a few small items in it for trade, a log, a pen, and then they go up in size from there.
We'll go on a little adventure.
And see what we see.
Yeah.
So one thing that's important about geocaching is leave no trace. So you want to stick to the trail. As you can see, we're on a nice big wide trail, but you avoid bushwhacking as much as possible. A lot of caches will be hidden off the trail, but wait until the last possible moment before you get off the trail to look for it, rather than trudging through the woods.
We're about 4/10 of a mile away from our destination. We're just gonna keep walking until we get there.
So we're getting close. How close are we there?
103 feet.
All right, we're within 103 feet. The clue to this cache is
Does it make a sound?
doesn't make a sound. So we're going to try to get as close as possible before the GPS tells us that we're starting to go the wrong way. And at that point, we'll go off the trail, which is bushwhacking. So does it make a sound if a what falls in the woods and no one is there to hear it?
51 feet, 47.
All right, so 51 feet. If you see where we are, there's a tree that's down, probably about 50 feet from us. So there's a good bet that that's where the cache is. So why don't we go in over here? Since Aaron's the one finding this, we'll let him take point.
Oh, how about not? You go first.
What?
You go first.
All right.
Because I want to follow your trail.
So there's the cache, hidden inside a tree. So Aaron's gonna log it on his phone that he found it. Did you bring a pen? I don't have a, oh no, do I have a pen on me? I don't know. There might be one in the cache. So, I have brought a bag of rocks with me because this is my cache and I want to stock it. One of the rules of geocaching is, see there's a bunch of swag in here. If you take something, leave something, a lot of times when you go out, people have taken stuff and not left anything, which is kind of a bummer for the kids. So I brought a bunch of stuff to load, and there's a lot of crap going on in here. I don't know why it's got so much paper in it. Somebody pulled the log apart, apparently. Oh, there's a travel bug. So we were going to talk about this. A travel bug usually would have something attached to it. This has got a code on it. If you go to the geocaching website, it'll be logged. Somebody places this, and each bug has a purpose or a goal. It's usually like to be near a body of water or to travel so many miles. So if you pick up a travel bug, you don't keep these. You gotta drop it off in another cache somewhere else. Put stuff in here, empty those in, fill that right up. So that's a good find for somebody.
I'm currently logging trackable at the moment. I'm going to take this up to New Hampshire. It wants to get to Alaska, so we're in Massachusetts. Hasn't made it out of Massachusetts yet. I figured I'll perpetuate that.
Last thing is, if you'll notice, this is camouflage. It's got camouflage tape on it, so it's kind of hard to see. When you find the cache, after you sign it, you do your thing, put it back exactly where you found it, or if it's out in the open, try to hide it. Caches should never be buried, but you can be like in the ground with the covering over them or something. So I'm gonna chuck that back inside the log, and that's how I came in when I placed it. But we're gonna go back out on the trail, so we're not covered in ticks by the time we get home. And that's a cache from start to finish.
We're at the Dune cache.
Dune geocache. So one of the reasons we picked this one, it actually has like almost 500 pictures on the log. It's a really beautiful, it's like a little over half a mile. But you'll see in a moment, we got like a climb ahead of us. So we're going out on the dunes down in the Cape. This should be exciting, strenuous.
Can't wait.
We'll see some dune shacks. Not halfway there yet. So here we are at ground zero. This one's a big one.
Just hiding behind this tree here.
Someone left a mask in here.
That's funny.
It's cool.
Dirty also.
All sorts of swag in here. It's a witch, bunch of stickers. Look at this. Some rocks in here. Deer. Our sign is built in. So one of the things, you always take something, leave something. So we got a bunch of pocket rocks here. We're gonna be nice and loaded up since this is a bit of an adventure to get to. Make it worthwhile for the next person. And I got that. Isn't that cool? All right. Okay, so most phones nowadays have GPS apps on them, but if you want something that's really accurate, you want to go with the handheld GPS. This is an older model, and you have to do everything by hand, clicking in, but it's extremely accurate, which is why I like it. So I'm going to put in the coordinates. So this is a bit of Provincetown history. 420. So this is a mystery cache. I solved the puzzle at home earlier so that we could just come down and find it. Basically, you had to go to there's a Provincetown history page that has a list of facts about the town and dates, and you just had to fill in the information. So we already have the coordinates, so once we put them in, we're just gonna go find the cache. 0.75. Almost a mile. So here's the thing with geocaching. It's one of those things that you can do. You can just go out and grab one when you're out and about, or you can make a day of it. So what Aaron and I decided to do was drive our asses down to Provincetown for the day.
And we made a day of it.
We did. Now, being that we're in a pandemic, a lot of places are still closed. This street would normally be packed this time of year, so we're going to spend our day doing caches.
So we're doing another cache.
Another cache.
And we are walking up to, what's this, Pilgrim Memorial?
Pilgrim Memorial, yeah.
See it, it's up there. So there's one right at the base, and we're gonna check it out. So Chris and I are trying to find this cache, and we have no idea where it is. The only hint we have right now is the fishing line will find the cache, will lead to the cache, and there's legit nothing right now.
No fishing.
No fishing line. So
it's only 20 feet, which is right back where I was.
yeah,
but...
so I mean, it looks like it's in the corner of this building over here. We're not seeing anything, but like we said before, this monument's pretty cool looking. So.
All right, so the hint was fishing line will lead to cache. So as I'm sticking my hand blindly in here, you're not going to be able to see it, but there's a fishing line right there. So pull on it, and son of a gun, this is what's called a bison tube. A lot of your micros are in here.
So we're the first people to find it in a little bit, huh?
Again, if we weren't in a pandemic, this is probably a very crowded place, so it's a difficult spot for a cache. But the museum is closed, and the tower's closed, so we're the only folks out here today. And here is the log. Looks like it last found in January. Now, one of the important things I'll mention, if you're out geocaching, you know, this is just a fun little hobby. But please make sure you sign the logs online, because the people who put out the cache, they get an email anytime somebody finds it, and it's always a little treat when all of a sudden you get an email and you know that people are out enjoying finding your cache. So make sure you sign the physical log to prove that you were here, and then sign it online so that the owners know. And if there's any damage or it's missing or it's wet, you note that on the log so that the owner knows to go out and find it. This one, for example, as Aaron mentioned, has been a DNF for like the last 2 or 3 ones. So just yesterday, the cache owner was out to check to make sure it was still here, and indeed